Go ahead, Jess.
That was really powerful. Just, I don't know, meditating on that for me at least.
Well, it was. I
The
felt it.
servant's heart,
Yeah.
and yeah, just putting yourself in that place, even mentally, of washing the feet of your brothers and sisters, and it's that space of humility isn't easy, especially for me. So just even identifying that, it's like there's a softening that happens with the mental forming and conceptualizing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe that's why it was a very powerful demonstration of what we are to do in servanthood that way. You know, because you think about it, back then, they wore sandals. So what was ever on the road, they had on their feet.
Well, you're talking about, people that represented the masculine, and they like to serve, but not in that way. They like to serve by doing things, building things, or helping people that way. But to wash another man's feet, that's like the ultimate.
I know, but
for a woman, it's not as big of a deal, but for a man.
But that's exactly where we're all going.
Yeah.
Because until we get to that place, then the divine feminine cannot come out to exist together. The divine masculine has to be set in proper order in the golden rule, in the place of humility and teachability before she can rise up.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way it works. We have to get there. That's why the whole earth is under that law. That's what we've been striving for. That's why the whole Torah, I mean, there's a whole esoteric side of Torah. I am not talking about the English translation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even talking about the literal interpretation through Hebrew. I'm talking about the esoteric side that was given for us to attain this level of mother's love, of the golden rule, so that we could begin to excavate the Father's unconditional, sovereign love. We haven't been able to get there yet. That's why we have had people over us, why we've had rulers over us, because we are demonstrating that we cannot handle the golden rule to how to teach people or how to relate to people properly. We have to be governed, because we haven't learned to govern ourselves yet.
Mm-hmm.
But that's changing.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to see more of that, because the people that are pushing into the era of love and light, they already comprehend this. So they're doing what they can to instruct this so that people will begin to grab a hold of it, because they're creating new neural pathways. So think about our individual brain. So as within, so without, as above, so below. So we think about our brain, and we can create new neural pathways through neuroplasticity. So we can break old habits, we can create new neural pathways. Well, we're doing the same thing in the greater collective consciousness. So for all the people that are doing things to pull forth this golden rule and establish it, what are they doing? They're creating new neural pathways for people to join so that we can switch over, finally reach the golden rule, so that we can have the sacred divine winning and bring the divine feminine up to match and be wed into one with the divine masculine. But we're still not there yet collectively.
Mm-hmm.
There's individuals that are doing it. There's individuals that have done it, but collectively we have not. That's why everything that we're seeing right now is very intentional, why everything is being brought down. Because the divine masculine has been done backwards, upside down, corrupt, because it's been for the rulers that have been over us have been there to serve themselves only through selfish gain. They aren't selfless leaders. They don't have the heart of David, and they definitely don't have the heart of Yeshua. They are only there for selfish gain, to rule and reign and subject the people to whatever women fancy they want that would serve them. And it is all coming down, because it is not serving us any longer, because there are those of us that are reigning, and we are ruling and reigning in our own personal sovereignty. It has to come down. So that takes us to the next word, because it talks about brother. So what is this? This is the brotherhood of the teachers of light that have and bring the teachings of oneness that will be able to show those who are of the covenant and who are outside of the covenant, for the purpose of what? Because this is brother. What is their purpose? What are they doing as coming as teachers? They're trying to connect us to the higher revelation of the Father's teaching, and they give generously this seed vision to other people. But it is going to come with conflict. Because again, like I was just talking about, the people that aren't in the golden rule yet, they can't even receive this latter half. They have to go through all of the instruction to get there, to be able to receive the meekness that comes through the power of connecting to Father through his teaching. So then what is it telling us to do? Well, it's saying that you're going to have to come as a humble teacher yourself, and you're going to have to present the spiritual path that is presented through Mother, to raise them up, because they're poor and destitute. They don't know the way. And you're going to have to present the bitter way to them first. It says, stop being so damn selfish, learn how to serve other people, and apply the golden rule so that you can be raised up out of your poor and destitute status. So that you can know. There's the root for yada. So that you can know. So that you can have the eyes to see and be able to have this fountain of living water that is going through you. And how is that done? Through the double doors. The double doors of what? The teaching of Mother and Father. The process of growing up the cherubim through the Ark of the Covenant to becoming the Ark of Testimony. And then we go into the word Lord here. So this is the phrase, know the Lord. Well, Lord is the word for sovereign. Lamaria.
Is no, that's the double.
Yep.
Double dollar.
Dalet, ein. So the teaching shepherd is going to come to you, the sovereigns, but they are going to bring forth a bitter message. They're going to bring forth a bitter message to you, but they also come and they give extravagantly. And they're going to give something to you if you hold out your hand to receive it. So they open their hand to give, you have to open your hand to receive, and they're going to teach you the way of one. They're going to teach you how to become a lord, to become a sovereign, because they are the teaching shepherds that know because they've become it. They're going to have the staff of authority. You're going to know that they're sovereigns because they went through the whole process. They went through the double doors. They have the Father's revelation. They have the power from the right hand. So when they come, this is the word that has to do with because. So they're going to bring this message to you, the living water teachings, but you're going to have to wrestle it. This is not something everyone has to wrestle this. Lord knows that every time I look at scripture, I'm wrestling something within me. Because it's meant to. You're compressing light. You're getting rid of those things that don't serve you. And of course, it's going to stir things up in you. Because if you're not measuring, if you're not meeting the measure, right? You're judging yourself against a standard that you're learning. Are you doing it? Because guaranteed, whatever you're projecting on another person is the stuff that's in you that you need to deal with. And if you're around a mature person and they can recognize when you're projecting, they will let you know that you're projecting. Nope, that's not a me issue, that's a you issue. Because you have to wrestle it. That wrestling is your instructor. That's what the Tet Lamet is all about. Your wrestling is your own instruction.
Yeah.
This is a higher way of us being able to see. This is the maturation process.
Well, it's recognizing the duality within the wrestle. Yeah.
Mhm.
Sometimes
And
it's
being able to see it instead of always projecting or judging on the external, and realizing, stopping in the moment and going, okay, I'm not in shalom. What's going on here? Because I recognize I'm struggling right now, and I'm more mature. I'm not in the immature thinking and blaming other people or making excuses. What I'm doing is I'm looking and going, what is going on in me right now that I need to learn? That's why the Lamed is there. What do I need to learn in this wrestle? And that's why it's always so important to surround yourself with mature people who are able to distinguish my issue from your issue, you know, so that they can help and say, you're projecting. And I'm telling this because I love you so much that you need to know, because I want to help you to come up higher. But this isn't me. This is your wrestle right now. But just know I see it and I love you.
Mhm.
Then we have the word all. But I love this. Oh, I'm getting emotional. What I've highlighted here is the word for bride. This is the word bride in Hebrew. And this is the word for bride in Aramaic. So what this is telling me, I didn't really dig this out much ahead of time, so you're just kind of getting the raw me right now. That's why I'm emotional, because I didn't process it. I didn't have enough time to process it. But what it's telling me is that when we are out there and we are judging the world to say, well, they're the bride and they're not, this is telling me, when I look at this, that all are the bride. All. Some just don't have the revelation of it yet, because the door hasn't come to present them the teachings yet.
Okay.
So you remember when we were talking last week about the harpist harping and how they stand at the door and knock? The doors need to come. These are people that have anointings
Yeah.
to show people how to go to their inner self, their heart, and they're knocking in their heart, and they're bringing these teachings to say, do you not know that you are the bride? Do you not know that there's a better and more excellent way? We can rise up. We don't have to stay down in this waters of chaos, because the language has come. If your cup is ready to be filled, there is a revelation that is coming that is going to instruct you, to teach you, and to reveal to you a higher way, so that you can connect to the Father in a measure that you haven't connected to before, even while you're in your material flesh suit. We are all this. And those that come,
ah, that's so cool.
yeah,
Mhm.
those who
Well,
come with the anointing are going to see that. That's why unconditional love is so amazing, because you can go and you can see what the world has said is unlovable, and you can look at them and say, I love you because you're the bride. You just don't know it yet. Nobody's told you. And this is why I felt it was so important to address the issue with the Nephilim, because they don't know. And there's many of them out here that have no hope, that are living in a life, and they've just chosen to just kind of give up and be what they've been told they are, instead of realizing that this is who they are. And now we have, and Jesse, you'll connect to this. Wow, I'm really stirring right now. This is the word to know. When we were on our walk today, we were talking about the double noons and the vav on the suffix side, were we not, Jesse? We were talking on our walk this morning about the vav and the double noons.
Yes.
Well, look what's on the left side of what I've highlighted.
Noon.
Vav, noon, yod.
Okay, that's the Vav noon.
So
Noon.
now look at how amazing this is. So this dalet ein is the word to know. On the prefix, we have mother, the spiritual path that you must start to walk so that you can go through the door of your inward being to see what's on the inside of you, the fountain of living waters that are already there. So again, let's go back just to connect this. So those who are of the Lord are coming, that are the teachers that are going to bring the bitter water teachings, to realize that there's a measurement and a standard that you have to attain, but you're going to wrestle it. You're going to wrestle it, but it's going to instruct you so that you can know that you are the bride, to reveal it to you so that you can go through the process of connecting. You have the revelation, you can connect to the Father, because the doors, the people that have this information are coming and knocking on your heart to say, open yourself up to this information so you can be changed. But you're going to have to start by taking the spiritual path that comes from Mother. She's going to teach you. She's the first one that starts to teach you that there's even a spiritual journey to be had. And she's going to show you the door. She's going to show you. So in other words, these teaching shepherds that come are going to be in the representation of a mother that is going to teach you the spiritual journey, the linear one first, golden rule, so that you can go through the door, so that you can have the eyes to see, so you can have the spiritual water flowing in you, so you can connect to Father in the power of meekness, of comprehending a love that goes beyond anything that they thought that they couldn't connect to, Nephilim, so they can connect to it. And it is done through the two teachers that are of the Father. The two that sit on top of the ark that face one another. A representation of the process of becoming. One representing the divine feminine, the other one the divine masculine. That are the two spiritual paths. So this right now, what that is showing me is the sacred wedding between the divine feminine and the divine masculine, because we've already talked about that this had to deal with the bride. That is the power that comes from the right hand of Father. And these people, because they know it and they become it, they will be graciously and giving extravagantly unconditional love. Because they are a part of the manna, because memnoon, again, is how we spell manna, the living water teachings, while they are in flesh. And I would say that this is the bread of life. This is the bread of heaven that has come down in flesh to present to you what the manna is. So when Yeshua said, unless you eat of my flesh and drink of my blood, he was the word that became flesh. Dam, Dalet Mem, the living water, the blood, the covenant, which is the covenant of promise, which is connected to Melchizedek, not the sacrificing of animals, but the Melchizedek offering of peace and friendship and eternity, eternal love, eternal friendship. Then when we talk about the least of these, I love this because this is the least of these, but if you look at the gematria minus the vav, if you look at the root of this word, which means little, it is the same word, zirah, which means seed. So think about even masculine seed is to progenate, or seeds that are going to sprout and take forth life. This is directly connected to the noon, which I think is amazing that the noon is added on there on the end of the word. But this is zirah, even the smallest seed that is planted, the smallest idea, when it comes from those who have already gone through the teachings, that already understand that they're bride, and they're coming to present this to you because they are. It is a tiny seed that will be planted within you, but it's going to be a sword and a plow. It's going to have to plow up the hard ground. It's going to have to cut off that which doesn't serve you any longer, so that you have the
Dead
ability
wood.
to see.
Jordan Peterson calls that dead wood.
Exactly. Cut off that which doesn't serve you. And you're going to see and know why, the purpose of this, especially after you've connected to your heart and you've been pierced within, because it's meant to raise you up so that you can be a first fruit, so that you can receive the Father's revelation, be connected to his power in meekness while you're in the flesh. This is a now thing. This is a now thing. And we already talked about the Adma before. We did that a couple weeks ago when we were looking at, and I never finished that, about blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Lamaria, right there. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, the teachers of light.
Lemuria.
Exactly. Exactly, Jesse. So this word right here, Adma, that we've talked about before, this is a witness and a testimony. They're the teachable and humble ones that come, standing as mother, so that you can see and know the fountain of living water that's within you, teaching you how to go into the door of your inner man and apply the living water teachings so that you can become one. This is what the witnesses do, because they're a living testimony of that which has already happened to them. And then the last word is the word elder. This is the root, kuf shin. So if people want to know who elders are supposed to be within the church, or what an elder of someone that is mature, this is showing us who they are and what an elder is supposed to do. And an elder doesn't mean somebody that is old linearly, because this is the qualifications of an elder. They need to be a teaching shepherd of the light that is going to be coming and presenting themselves as a mother to teach you the golden rule. Because what? In the root of them, they have compressed light within. They found the narrow path between the light and the dark. They took that which was hidden, and now they're revealing it in the circle of time. And they went through the walk of fire. But they didn't just go through one fire, because this is the root, guys. Kuf Shin. Kuf Shin, that's the root. They went through the twin fires. So again, you think of, and this what's, here's the crazy part. So it says that the Father dwells between the cherubim, and his power and his glory is in between the cherubim. Well, here we go. Here is the visual in the word representation of it, because what do we have right in the middle of this word? Power. The little yod. The power, means, and direction that is connecting the two twin fires together, that of mother and father that purify you through the ark of the becoming, so that you can become a testimony, So an elder, they've already gone through that process. That's why they're coming as a teaching shepherd of light. They've already done it. And what are they doing? They're coming to bring you the revelation, the higher narrative that has been hidden until now, because it's now time to be released, because there's people who can see it now. They've raised up their vibration level high enough that they have been given the ability to see, because they chose not to stay in the lesser narrative of the material realm. They are choosing to connect through the meekness that comes through this revelation of Father while they are in the flesh. And I think it's interesting that King James would translate this as greatest. The most mature of them all. And we were talking about the washing of feet. Whoever wants to be the greatest must be the servant of all. That's what a teaching shepherd does. They are the elders. They are the ones that are mature, that are coming to bring forth this message.